Hey everyone, thanks for joining us. I am Mike Marshall here with special guest Brent Slava.
I'm a special guest.
Special guest.
Well, thanks for having me, buddy.
No problem. Today we are going to talk to you guys a little bit about how to trade like a psychic wizard. Thanks to Neil on the team. He came up with the amazing title. So appreciate that, Neil. Just wanted to give you guys a real quick overview of how to register for a free trial and then how to log in. And what we'll do is we will then quickly show you the Benzinga Pro platform, and then Brent here is going to be taking a deeper dive into what should be going through your mind when you see some of the different activity coming through your Pro platform.
Absolutely.
So, Brent,
Yeah.
you know, if you don't mind, would you kind of introduce yourself and tell them a little bit about what you do at Benzinga?
Yeah, sure. So Brent Slava, I'm one of the guys helping run the news team over here. Been doing this news stuff for about 10 years or so now. We are looking at every source you can possibly imagine. We're looking at press releases, we're looking at SEC filings, we're looking at social media, we're looking at trader communities, we're chatting with traders, we're chatting with the sell side. And we're trying to condense that all down into a curated feed, an aggregated feed, and we do also do exclusive content stuff, news that we're breaking. You cannot get it anywhere else except if you're tuned in the Benzinga Pro Wire.
Excellent. Perfect overview.
Sweet.
And what I do over here is I work pretty closely with the product team and the development team. I get a lot of feedback from our users into what they would like to see on the platform, what we need to clean up on the platform, and try and bring the best all-around investment research platform to you guys.
And you do a great job at it.
I appreciate that, Brent. So as you guys should see on your screen here, right up here is the URL, pro.benzinga.com/register. What you got to do is you just put your first name, last name, phone number, email, and then you create a password. After you do that, you then can hit request access. After you do so, it will bring you to a page that says thank you for signing up. If you take a look at my URL now, it will say pro.benzinga.com/login. Just use the email address you just used to sign up and the password you just created, and you will be able to log into the platform.
Boom.
So what you guys are seeing here, I'm going to take a couple zooms in.
Zoom it right in there.
And I'm going to, right down here is a live ticker screen. And so what you can do is you can change those tickers by typing in different tickers up top of your search bar, and you will notice that right down here that ticker populated. I'm going to go ahead and turn the scrolling ticker bar on the bottom off, just so it doesn't cause any delays or anything for you guys out there. Also, you know, this is also where you can change some of your themes on your newsfeed. So Brent, why are these exclusive, hot, and market-moving exclusives all have this red AA by it?
So, I mean, Benzinga Pro does some really simple stuff, but it does some really simple stuff that is really impactful. This is one of the really simple things that I think is really impactful. So you can set some kind of customizations to some headlines going across. By default, the Benzinga Pro platform comes with these three that are automatically set to red. Red is kind of something that sticks out the most. We have market movement exclusives. That's sort of our highest level content. That is exclusive content. You can't get it anywhere else. You got to go to Benzinga Pro for it. And we get the information, and we feel the information is so relevant and material to the story, to whatever stock we're writing about, that we have a feeling that is actually going to move a stock. It's going to be material enough where the market is going to have to readjust based on the information that we're publishing exclusively on Benzinga Pro. Taking that one step down, exclusives is exclusive content. It might be a cool interview with an exec of a publicly traded company. It might be a cool interview with an exec somewhere locally in Detroit, and it's exclusive content. We don't necessarily think that it's going to like move any market, but it is some cool content, and you might be interested in it. And then the last kind of one there that is by default red is hot. And what hot is, I mean, what we want to do with each of these, what we want to do with any of the customization that you can do with these headlines is draw your attention You draw your eyes to it so you can't miss it. Sometimes we'll use hot as a way for users out there to be alerted to something that we want you to see. Other than that is basically a top news item of the day. So if you're sort of looking for maybe the top 1 to 5 news items on the day, you can filter your feed by just hot, and you'll sort of be tuned into the most pertinent information for the day. So you did something there, Mike, that I wanted to kind of take a break here and just note. So you set, how did you do that again? You hit add theme, right?
Just added the theme, and then I selected which source or category I wanted to then have represent the color.
So the distinction I want to make there is a source is basically a different location that information might be coming from. A category is a category of news that one of the reporters on the news desk team is classifying a news item by. So if it's related to an upgrade or downgrade from the sell side, it's going to be tagged analyst ratings, etc. And you tagged one category option, you made it green, and then you also tagged one source, Benzinga Signals. And the Benzinga Signals one, this is something that I personally have on my Benzinga Pro feed. The difference in between when you get your Benzinga Pro platform, Benzinga Signals and Benzinga Wire are going to be on by default. And the difference between those, you're going, what? I don't understand what the difference there is. The difference is anything that you see coming from Benzinga Wire is hand typed out by a team member on the news desk. So something about a piece of information that they got, in their head they say, whoa, this is some information that I need to alert a lot of other users about. I'm going to actually hand type out a headline here. Benzinga Signals is one of the only automated components of Benzinga Pro right now. And basically what Benzinga Signals is doing is we're watching the market throughout the day, and we are looking at options, we're looking at trading halts, we're looking at dramatic price action in stocks, we're looking at big block trades. These are some of the things that we're going to go over today. And again, these are automated. We're looking at the tape and we're flagging if you see a big spike higher or lower in Facebook shares. We're watching Facebook trading multiple times a second. And if basically a criteria is hit, let's say 1/3% of a spike higher in Facebook shares over a 1 second time span, this alert is going to fire on Benzinga Pro. And again, there's no reporter involvement. This is some real-time stuff. This is about as real-time as it gets on Benzinga Pro. It's for a user that is a little bit more tuned into like the raw kind of data.
Excellent. And we are going to be taking a deeper dive into the signals here in just a little bit. But Brent, really appreciate you giving us a little more insight on how to set up our different settings on our news feed.
Yep.
So just to kind of cruise through the overview of the platform, we've seen all of these different themes or channels or categories and sources right there. There's another spot we can look at them, and that would be in our filters. 2 different views, they do 2 different things. We noticed that we had red coming through for exclusive, market moving exclusive, and hot, and we have options coming through as green. Now we jump over here to sources. If we were to turn this off, we would notice that BZ Signals will be coming through as blue, and we don't have anything set for BZ Wire, so that will just be coming through the default. So with the 2 different screens, so this is all the same information we just seen in the settings, but this is how you filter out your news feed. So if you only traded options or you only wanted to be alerted to M&A activity, you could just come here, select M&A activity, and you're only going to see news items that are pertaining to M&A activity. So if you want to, turn the fire hose down of news to only see the stuff pertinent to your investment strategy, all you would do is come in here and select the different categories that would make the most sense for you. And after you're done, you just select done. You notice up here in the top right corner that the filters are set at 6. So you know that you are now filtering out all of the other information other than bonds, M&A, options, and rumors. So I'm going to go ahead and just hit clear all. Brent, is there anything that you would like to add here before we kind of quickly get moving through the overview of the platform and then taking the deeper dive?
I had a couple questions actually. Coincidentally, today I had a couple questions, users chatting in to the news team, and I had 2 questions today about a person asking what a widget is.
Okay.
So it's the term that we use, and maybe you can just explain that real quick, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. So we call these features right here that you should see on your screen widgets. So we have a newsfeed widget, we have a details widget, we have a calendars widget, also a watch list widget, and those are just different pages. So as you can see, we could set up these different widgets or workspaces in the different workspaces. So if we wanted to customize our feed or our platform to our strategy, we could just easily type in, you know, these different titles up here, and then if we were to log out and log back in, our widgets and news feed and workspaces are all set up exactly how we left them. So was that the?
Yeah, and I like how you have like details. I mean, this is something that I need to do on my platform. I like how you broke out details there. So if you ever want to just click over and look at market cap or look at, you know, volume for the day, what sector it's in, etc., you can just quickly kind of click over and type in a ticker. That's sweet.
Absolutely. So as we move down and quickly show you guys these different features only on Benzinga Pro, you will see that we're just going to quickly move right down this left side, these different widgets. So right here is the default to details is going to be the Apple security. And what you're going to see is you're going to see some key data points right over here on our right side. And then right underneath this little candle chart, you're going to see where all of the news on Apple is housed. And here's the source that it came from, whether it was partner news, whether it was coming from your BZ Wire, maybe it was SEC filings, maybe it was a press release. That's all going to be housed right here. So if you want to take a deeper dive into Apple, it would just be that simple. If we wanted to jump from Apple, say, over to Microsoft.
MSFT, Mr. Softy.
Oh, nice.
That's how I remember that.
You could jump over to Microsoft that easy. If we wanted to see a little different view of the chart that comes with the platform, you can just select chart, and you will see that you know, you can take a deeper or more in-depth look at the charting tools that we have. Here are all the indicators that come with the platform, all the fundamentals. Don't want to spend too much time on this. But here's the basic financials for Microsoft: income statement, cash flow. You can have a range of either annually or quarterly. And Brent, will you tell us a little bit about one of the newer features, the fund file?
All right, so type in, who do you want to go for? You want to check Warren? Let's check Berkshire. Okay, so what is fund holding? So this is something that we added recently, and check it out as Mike. Actually, we go back, we type that in again, Mike. I wanted to make a little discrepancy here, a little differentiation. So you can see that right now the platform is suggesting that Mike click the symbol BERK on the OTC. That's not what he wants, I don't think. But basically what I want to show here is that that first word in the suggest is basically prompting you with what kind of little interaction you're going to have. If you click a symbol, then you're going to go to a stock symbol. If you click a fund, then it's going to take you to the holdings of that fund. So click down to Berkshire Hathaway. Cool. So it says fund, it says Berkshire Hathaway. So what you're looking at here is a bunch of 13Fs, a bunch of filings in the SEC just hit a couple weeks ago. And what needs to happen is if you're a hedge fund, you have to disclose at no later than 45 days after the end of the quarter, your current holdings, the stocks that you're currently long. So what a lot of people like to do is follow, it's called whale watching. They like to follow their big investors, the big hedge fund managers that they like, and you can kind of see what they're doing in their portfolio. The important thing to note here is that this stuff is delayed. It's at least 45 days delayed. So you're not really going to be like reacting to this in real time. However, you can take some cool stuff away from this. Like, for example, you know, why did a couple quarters ago Warren Buffett get into a few airline stocks? you know, and you're sort of going, well, Warren Buffett, he's one of the greatest investors of all time. He's getting into airline stocks. I wonder if I should be kind of thinking similarly. So you can type in the search field any fund that you want to watch, and Benzinga Pro will suggest a platform, suggest a fund for you. So to type in one more, Mike, real quick, Greenlight, one word, G-R-E-N, Greenlight. So this is David Einhorn's fund, another big hedge fund manager, notable hedge fund manager, and you can see he has a lot more positions than Berkshire Hathaway and Warren Buffett. So just something cool, and again, something like you were saying, Mike, that we just recently added. We want to highlight this to a lot more people because we feel it's got some really good usage as far as your fundamental research goes.
Appreciate it. Now, moving forward, took a deep dive into the details. We're going to go ahead and jump over here to the calendars. If I wanted to rename my workspace, it would be just that simple. And Brent, what are we looking at?
Calendars. Think of calendars this way. You get in your news feed, and there's a lot of information coming into the news feed. There's a lot of stuff that you kind of sift through. If you're not really comfortable with that kind of sifting through, the calendar is a much more visual way to get a lot of information. As you can see here, it's in a table format, it's in a spreadsheet format. What we're looking at here is the earnings calendar. And we have, I don't know, we have like 10 or so calendars. It could be dividends for the day. It might be analyst ratings for the day. It might be your events for the day, IPOs for the day, guidance for the day, economics for the day. Go click over. So here's your analyst ratings really quickly. It's showing you what firms did what ratings actions to what stocks today. These are totally, you get about maybe 30 to 100 rating changes a day. These are definitely going to be moving stocks. And you know, you get a little bit of you get a little bit of an insight into what the sell side is currently liking and not liking. Click over to the economic one real quick.
Absolutely.
So economics, this is your economic calendar for the day. This is a heads up that you're going to get, you know, oh, this is a big data point actually, the GDP reading out of Japan. You're going to get insight into your jobs market for the United States. The reason you might want to know, and you might want to know about these events and use this calendar, is because you're going to get volatility. Go back down to the U.S. real quick, Mike. You're going to get volatility around these times. When that jobless claims number hits, the market is going to react right away to it. Today we had a better than expected reading in the jobs market. The market probably most of the time is going to react favorably to that kind of stuff. Philly Fed business. It's basically a manufacturing, look into manufacturing in the Philadelphia Fed region, had an extremely strong number today. The Philadelphia region showing awesome manufacturing growth over May. So again, you're going to get a ton of volatility around these events. It's important at the beginning of your day to know when you're going to get these volatility events. If you don't want to actually trade them, you just need to know about them. You just need to know so that when you're trading another stock and you see the SPY, when you see the S&P start moving, you're not totally sideswiped and unaware of it.
Excellent. So just some good things to do daily checks on.
Yep.
Once again, different things that you can do on the calendar settings. I do hear a lot of great feedback about people that like to come over to the earnings and then do a range of, say, next week's earnings. They can then right click, they could export it to a CSV file. And what that would look like is it would be just, you know, a very similar format to what you see here, and it would just be laid out nicely on an Excel sheet with the date, what company is going to be announcing. So just, you know, different ways you can set up your information and see it. So just wanted to point out those different ways you can look at it. Also, you can set it up by your watch list, so you're only seeing information on your watch list if that was what you were looking for.
Nice. And in this watch list, you only got 3 stocks, it looks like, right?
Yes,
so
correct.
It's kind of showing you. Okay, awesome.
Excellent. So just really quickly, to do a watch list, we just select the watch list. It's going to populate to your current watch list if you have one. If you don't have one, it's going to ask you to create a new one. And I'm just going to do this real quick for you guys. You just either copy and paste that list of companies that you're watching if you had them somewhere, or you just start typing them in. You have to type them in individually and hit enter right after it to make sure that you grab it. So, you know, just want to make sure that everyone is understanding what you're doing. And if you wanted to rename your watch list, you could do so by clicking the pencil there. It looks like I got a little lag here, Brent.
That'll get you.
That'll get you. So, you know, if you wanted to rename your watch list, you could just do so by selecting the pencil sign. If I wanted to add to my watch list, I could do so by just typing in the ticker up here. Single click it, you'll see that it's selected, and double click it, it will add down to the bottom.
Okay.
And then I can remove it by right clicking and removing it. So Brent, we started this webinar about 15-20 minutes ago, and we promised our listeners they were going to learn more about spiking, block trades, and halts. Where should we start?
All right, let's start with blocks. All right, so show everyone an effective way to pull blocks here.
Excellent. So there's a couple ways. So what I did is I just opened up my news feed. My default settings is at 2. What I could do is I could just type in the word block up at the top, hit enter, and I am completely filtered out by blocks.
And you're doing that's a keyword search. Just wanted to clarify.
Correct. The way I think you wanted me to get there was going to be to unselect the wire.
I don't care.
And also, so now everything's coming through signals, and I typed in block as well.
You're doing exactly the same thing basically. The only thing that is going to be different between the two ways you showed it with BZ signals, BZ wire selected and not selected, is if there is a Benzinga Pro headline or a Benzinga.com story that has the word block in it, you're going to get it filtered in there. So this way, where you unselect Benzinga wire, it's just going to give you a more limited view on block trade.
Excellent.
So you want me to explain block trades a little bit?
Let's take a deep dive.
Okay, so this is a pretty new feature that we added to BZ Signals. It was pretty exciting for me when we launched this because I do actually use this. How do I use this? Well, you know, I have a lot of people chatting in and saying, hey, your block trades don't show if it's bullish or bearish. And that's not exactly how it works. How I use this and how I think, you know, a lot of traders use it and how I think listeners out there should use it is to show interest, and specifically and definitely notably institutional interest. So what's happening here with a block trade is there's a big buyer or seller who wants to buy a bunch of stock or sell a bunch of stock. To do that, he might contact a specialist. He might contact somebody on the floor who says, hey, I want to get rid of 1 million shares here. I don't want to just dump them on the open market. Is there a way that we can do this? And so the specialist will work to pool together a bunch of buyers and sellers so that they can get rid of a block. Like, for example, in Xilinx there, XLNX, a 1.1 million share block. And that happened at 65.50. Yeah, click the link, the ticker there. I wanted to see if the stock reacted when that block hit. So
looks like it was about
12:33. Go back a little bit. So somewhere out there. So it didn't react right away, but notice that the stock has ticked higher. I don't know what the S&P has done since then, but it looks like, you know, it looks like there was kind of a big bar there that might have got the stock moving higher. So let me say this again. So, or maybe let me say it a little bit of a different way. So think about this. If you're a retail investor, you probably can't do the kind of quantity to get to a block trade. Meaning, if it's me or you investing or trading, Mike, we're probably not going to be able to sell 200,000 shares of ELGX, right?
Correct.
However, institutions certainly are. So most of the block trades that you're going to see are almost certainly from institutions. So again, kind of circling back, you know, people chatting in saying, hey, this isn't really, I don't know if this is bullish or bearish. You're not really going to get that level, but you are going to know that for whatever reason, either a bearish reason or a bullish reason, there's some institution that is looking to get, you know, light on Xilinx, for example, or get a little bit more invested into Xilinx. One thing you can do, and this is, you know, a lot of the stuff, the 3 sections that we're going to cover today are going to be really good starting spots for your own research. Benzinga Pro can't exactly tell you if this block is bullish or bearish, but it can alert you to something that's happening so that you can go dive in and do some of your own research really quick. And so what if you do want to do a little bit of research, for example, let's say Xilinx, XLNX, had 1.1 million block share, and you're going, okay, well, what does that do for me? Well, what you can do is you can pull up a list of the largest holders in Xilinx. We don't have that capability in Benzing Pro to filter by ticker yet. We're going to be getting that soon. You're going to have to use another resource right now to do this. But what you can do for like this block is go find out who the biggest holders in Xilinx are right now. Let's just say there's only 3 or 4 shareholders in Xilinx that have over 5 million shares. If one of those 5 million shareholders wanted to do a big block like this, you could really kind of figure it out. You could sort of say, well, 1 million shares, that's a pretty big block. I bet there's only a few players in there who would be able to do that kind of move. So at the least, you're getting some insight into who might be moving around in Xilinx right now. Maybe you go research that firm a little bit and you understand that it is Greenlight Capital, and I'm totally making this up, but let's say Greenlight Capital and Xilinx, and you kind of know how Greenlight and David Einhorn trade. Maybe you can get a little bit of an indication as to what that block meant. What is it? Was it bullish or was it bearish? Again, you're going to have to do your own research on this stuff, but the stuff that we want to talk about today is really in the realm of alerting you to things, giving you a heads up that there's some kind of interest going on.
Excellent.
So let's do spikes next. So I think he's spiking. Yep. Okay, awesome. So what you're showing everyone here, Mike, is
and just before we get going too far, with the block trades,
okay.
I believe the minimum number of blocks in order for our system to pick it up is 200,000.
Yep.
So there could be 190,000 blocks that are being traded. That would not be picked up by the signals. So just so you guys are aware, the indicator for the signals to be picked up is 200,000 shares.
Thank you for adding that. And one more thing real quick. Consider, as you're considering blocks, consider the stock price. If it's a 50-cent stock, the blocks could go off in a lot more of a quantity, right?
Yep.
If it's Google or Apple who have multiple $100 stocks, the number of shares that are going to be able to be traded is going to be a lot less. So if you see a block of Google go off 200,000 shares, that is a heck of a lot of money moving around in the marketplace. Just realize that.
Great point. Excellent. So if there are any other questions pertaining to block trades, please drop them to us, and we will make sure to circle back to that.
Sweet. So spiking. So what you're seeing here, Mike typed in the word spiking, just the kind of little workaround so you can get to only the dramatic price action. And what you're showing here is basically steep moves higher or lower in a stock. So like, why don't you click on, do you see Yum down there, YUMC? Click on that, and let's see what the chart looks like here. See if we can actually flag it. So what time did that go off? So that went off about 9:57. So I can see it on the chart already, where that block, or excuse me, not that block, but where that big trade came in. So how do you use this? It's similar as block trades, I would say. Understand that this could start your own research. So maybe, sometimes we can get ahead of these spike higher or dip lowers. We can't always though. Sometimes the moves start happening and then we have to go do our own research as to determine why that stock's moving. And you can do that too. We want to do it for you, but we're not going to be able to cover quite all of these yet, at least with our current capacity. So, Achillion, you see ACHN spiking up 2% there. And you go, okay, I'm not currently invested in Achillion. It's something maybe I've been looking at. What's going on right now? Is there a news item? Is there not a news item? Did it move over an important level? Is it, dealing with some technicals right now? That kind of stuff. So again, it just really starts your own research. And it's an alert so that you can go off on your own and start trying to figure out some stuff for yourself. Or if you want to, you can hit up the news desk. You can chat into the news desk and you can say, hey, I just seen the MWA spike higher. You know what's going on. And we'll say, yeah, Mario Gabelli, he was on CNBC. He likes the stock started moving on that.
Excellent. And thanks for bringing that up. So ask the Benzinga News Desk. What that is, that's available to you while you're on your free trial, or it's only available to you on the premium package. So what this is this is basically your own personal research team. So say you can't find any more information on a certain stock, but it is, say, spiking or ripping, and you're wondering what's going on. Well, you could chat in with the Benzinga News Desk, and they could let you know on some of the information that they've heard around the street, but haven't quite gotten anything confirmed. So make sure to leverage the chat with the News Desk. It is, it's a differentiator, and it is the only place you can do that is on the Benzinga Pro platform. So I think the last thing we wanted to talk about was halts.
I think it's halt. Do halt. No S. Okay, I guess either works, actually. I was just a little surprised. I guess there was only one halt today. Usually there's a lot more. Okay, so what does halt mean? So there will either be a decision by the company or by the exchange based on some news. So let's use LJPC here, La Jolla Pharmaceutical today. So La Jolla had some news that it knew it was going to release today. It maybe contacted the exchange and said, hey, exchange, we think we're going to have some big news today. We think the stock's going to move on this. Do you want to halt the stock? That would be the case if the company kind of went to the exchange and asked. Sometimes I believe the exchange will actually instruct the company that, hey, we're going to have to halt the stock. This is some notable enough news that there's going to be a ton of volatility if we just drop this midday. So basically what the company is doing is preparing you for a big news item. And that's how you should be using this. And you're going, Brent, okay, well how am I going to trade that? Well, you can't trade it. The stock's halted. It means you can't do anything, but you know that there is something big that's going to happen. If you own a stock that's halted, you basically are going to want to keep your eyes glued to the wire because there's going to be news out probably momentarily on the name, and it is going to likely be something material. I will say a little sort of like inside information, or not inside information, but like a little insight for myself. If you see a halt happening on the stock, on a stock on the NASDAQ, like La Jolla here, LJPC, you can guess it's going to be a big news item. I will say generally, when you see a stock get halted on the NYSE, it might not be as big of a news item. For whatever reason, just over the years that I've been doing this, I've noticed that when a stock gets halted that trades on the NYSE, sometimes it'll resume trading after the news hits, and it won't even really move that much. So just sort of a little heads up there that I wanted to give everybody. One way that I think you can play trading halts, you can actively do something when you see a halt, is look for peers. Look for sympathy plays. Look for companies that are related, possibly related to a company like La Jolla. Maybe there was a decision on a drug the company is making, and maybe there's like 5 other players in the market who operate in that space, which potentially could be impacted by this news, which is going to be announced by La Jolla. Another quick example, let's say you see a halt in a Carnival, in a cruise liner. Let's say Carnival gets halted. Maybe the reason why the stock ends up being halted is because the company had some good guidance. Royal Caribbean, Norwegian Cruise Line, a couple other cruise liners are going to move on that. So while you might not be able to trade Carnival, there's probably going to be a reaction in some of those sympathy plays and some of those peers that operate in a very similar space.
Great. That was really a great dive into how to react to different halting in the T1 and T3 definition.
Yeah, T1. So T1 is trading halted with news pending. A T3, when you see a T3, it means that a stock is going to resume momentarily. So how it works right now is when you see that halt, it says for La Jolla, it says 11:56 and 5 seconds. That's exactly when that halt went off. You couldn't trade it at 11:56 and 6 seconds, but you could trade it at 11:56 and 4 seconds. The T3 indicates that in the next 5 minutes, it's going to resume trading, and it's going to resume trading exactly in the next 5 minutes. So La Jolla resumed trade at exactly 12:50 and 0 seconds. It was available. It resumed trade. As you can see in the chart there over on the right pane, there was a big move higher in it. This was clearly some good news.
Excellent.
And then the other kind of signals that you might see, there is right here, FTV. It is at 3:50 a.m. on Wednesday. keep going down to the bottom. The first one for that day, just one up. So it says trading halt news disseminated. So what does that mean? That means that basically the company or the exchange couldn't get to the news item before the news item was actually dropped. So what happened is the news came out, and then probably immediately after, the exchanges had to halt the stock. The other kind of signal you're going to get here with the halt is a circuit breaker. And what a circuit breaker is, they put circuit breakers in place after the Great Recession that happened a few years ago. And what it is if you get extremely notable action, I believe it is, I think it's 10%, it's either 5 or 10% in a short amount of time, in like 5 minutes, there's going to be a circuit breaker that automatically halts trading in the stock for that name. Basically what it's doing is it's giving some of the specialists that are working on that security time to kind of let things cool down for a second. They'll get their orders in order, and they'll basically have the best kind of price adjustment, price discovery for when that stock reopens.